Hello, dear friends. Now, I wasn't going to buy this, but I sort of had to complete the set. Yes, it is my Spider-Man Homecoming, Spider-Man Far From Home mug. It's sort of part the traditional mug and part the weird mask. I already have the Spider-Man Homecoming mask, and it's a much smaller one than this. My thoughts on Spider-Man Far From Home. This movie definitely deals with a lot of the events from Endgame. So I would say if you want to see Far From Home, hopefully you have seen Endgame, because a lot of what Peter Parker has to go went through is sort of dealing with a death that happened with it. Actually, I can reveal it. It was him dealing with Tony Stark's death, and the fact that a lot of things he is not sure if he could live up to the legacy that Tony left him. So that is a lot of the feelings that Peter has, and we see a little more development between him and his bestie, and he's trying to tell the girl that he really likes, which is MJ, yeah, she's back, that he really, really likes her. They go on a summer field trip all around Europe, that's the idea. Until Jake Gyllenhaal's character comes into the picture, and then we see good old Nick Bloody Fury, who pretty much from that point on hijacks the heck out of the holiday. I'll tell you, what are we going to do with you, Nick? He pretty much hijacks the whole thing, and a lot of fighting, a lot of things happen within the movie. I think this particular movie is great. This really feels more like a sequel to Endgame than a sequel to Homecoming. So I would say if you've just sat through the original Spider-Man and jumping straight into Far From Home, you will have no clue what is happening. That's the only subtle dig I would say about this movie. And the weird thing is, now both Gyllenhaal siblings have done a superhero movie. What am I referring to? Maggie, Jake's sister, was actually in the Batman trilogy. She replaced Katie Holmes from the first Batman. She replaced her in the second. And now her brother is now part of superhero legend. And can I just say, for a villain, he is really complex and really really human, if I can say that. I've to be honest, I've not had much of a experience sort of watching Jake Gyllenhaal movies. I do know who the man is. So I don't really seek out his movies, but he can pull this one off absolutely brilliant. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I had parts where my usual sort of reactions popped up, but nothing like I saw when I went to see Endgame the second time. This movie will definitely this will really have a bit of a niche audience, unfortunately. With Homecoming, you could almost jump straight into Homecoming. This one, like I said before, I don't think so. The relationships definitely have matured, and we do see some of the effects of the snap, or the blip, as what the characters call it in this particular movie. We do see a lot of what happened with that blip, how people reacted to that. That is featured in this movie a little bit, with a particular prominent character who wasn't affected by the blip. So I'm assuming that our core threesome, which is Peter, his best friend, and MJ, were affected by the blip because of the way they talk. We do know automatically Peter was affected from the blip. I'm assuming the other two in that sort of mini triangle were also affected by the blip, because those two characters don't actually age. We discover in this movie anyone that wasn't affected by the snap aged 5 years. And we also assume May also was part of that snap, because we see in this movie a new apartment, and she does mention that when she came back, I'm not sure if she did it for the audience or was it true, that when she came back there was a whole new set of people living in the apartment. So I'm really assuming at this point that they were affected and probably had their stuff put in storage somewhere. I'm assuming Tony would have made sure their stuff was well looked after. Being so close to Peter, I'm assuming he would have made sure that all their stuff were moved into a storage facility, just like they did for Scott. So I think this movie will only appeal to Marvel fans, and specifically the ones that have been watching the MCU pretty much as long as I have. I think I've only missed maybe 2 of the whole series, which are The Incredible Hulk and Black Panther. So I do know where this character journey has become. Have you seen Far From Home? Do you recommend this? I thoroughly do, and I definitely get this a 4 out of 5 only to MCU fans. To the casual viewer, a 1 out of 5, that is a rare distinction I've ever made on this channel. To the MCU fan, 4 out of 5. To the casual viewer, or the viewer that has only sat through the Sony Marvel pictures, a 1 out of 5, because you have missed a whole chunk of Spider-Man storyline. That's all I'm saying. So I shall see you possibly in about 10 days time. I'm already counting down before Lion King is released. I'm hoping they don't screw it up, as I've said multiple times. And I shall see you with the Lion King. Ciao, guys.